Can I steal you for a minute?
Steal you for a minute?
Can I steal you for a minute?
Welcome to Can I Steal You for a Minute, the reality dating recap podcast. My name is Kendra Raj.
And I'm Mary Bianco.
And it's like an off week.
Yeah, we had
a few weeks where we don't have like extra stuff.
No, there's no reality dating shows going on. But I didn't tell you, I binged watched a show today.
Was it The Secret Lives of Mormon Wives?
It was.
Okay. I have seen the majority of episode 1.
Okay.
So I can't talk about it yet. I'm sorry, everyone. I can't talk about it yet because I want to watch it.
Yeah. I'm on episode 6. It's honestly amazing. Sorry, my phone just fell. It's honestly...
It's amazing.
It's amazing. It is... I don't know what else to say besides... I don't want this to come across wrong. I think that religions that are overly restricted should always have boundaries pushed. Like,
yes.
Always question the rules. The hoops that these women jump through to do all of the things that they want to do while calling themselves strictly adhering to the Mormon religion is so fucking fun to watch.
Yeah. I mean, it's just crazy because like Mormonism is like one of the most rules bound, I think, like Christian sects in the... I mean, I don't even know if you call it a branch of Christianity. Do you? No, you can't.
I mean, maybe. I guess we like all believe in Jesus, and is that like the thing that ties? I don't know though, because they're so different from us. I don't know what I would call it. I don't think they would like to be called Christian.
If I'm thinking about like Christian as a word, like dissecting it, Christ.
Yeah.
So maybe, I mean, I guess I've always felt like it's like a very, very extreme version of some forms of Christianity and like wacky and weird.
Yeah, because they believe, and all of my information comes from the Book of Mormon on Broadway. So grain of salt with a lot of this, but I mean, Matt Stone and Trey Parker don't not do their research, so I would trust them on it. They believe that this man, Joseph Smith, who's a blonde white man, I think from Utah or something, or no, maybe he's from the
No, he's from upstate New York.
He's from upstate New York, but he decided, but Jesus came to him and told him that Salt Lake City was the promised land. And so this man has just said that Jesus came to him and convinced him of all these different rules. And so I don't know. It almost like is, maybe this is fucked up. It's almost more adjacent to Scientology to me at this point with like how wacky and secretive a lot of it is. But I realized I went into it assuming that like everyone followed every single rule. And it's like, of course they don't all follow every single rule. Every religion like bans certain things and everyone still does it, but then they still call themselves part of that religion. I just thought like Mormons had like more monitoring on them, like more checking on them to see what everyone was doing.
It's almost like a big human experiment of the human condition. Like, how many rules can you impose on a community of women, or especially women, but men as well?
Yeah.
And then how many of them actually follow them? And I really think the number is pretty low. Like, my other dip into this is like the Real Housewives of Salt Lake City, which is like, stupid,
I haven't watched that.
I mean, there's one devout Mormon on there who's like still doing all the things, and that's Lisa Barlow. Mm-hmm. But she owns an alcohol company. I don't know. The whole thing is just very contradictory, and it seems like it's a lot of like presenting yourself one way, but really you're having like, what is it called? Soft swinging parties.
Soft swinging parties. I know. It is like, and it's like this whole like holier than thou like group, like this woman Whitney on it, she's pretty innocuous in the first episode, but by the time you get to where I am, it's like, oh, you're like the most hypocritical person you're so mean.
She's the one with the husband who like has a porn addiction.
Cheated on her.
And
like went on Tinder.
Was on Tinder and stuff. Yeah. I can tell in episode 1, we're just scratching the surface with like what's gonna be revealed with her. And
because go ahead.
No, I mean that's it really.
Because do you remember like a couple of years ago, there was a woman doing a TikTok dance next to her baby, explaining how she found out that her baby had RSV.
No, I didn't see that. Maybe I'm not on TikTok.
Oh my God, Indra, this video was crazy. This woman's literally, her child
was
is in.
Whitney?
It was Whitney. Yeah.
And what did she do?
Her child is literally in like, I don't know what they call them, like those clear things that they put your baby in after they're born, like the hospital crate that they like push them around.
Oh yeah,
in.
like the little bassinet thing. Yeah.
Her baby is laying in there looking dead to camera. He's not dead. He's not dead. He looks dead at the camera. And and she is just doing like that TikTok dance where like swing your arm around and stuff. And popping up in the corner are captions talking about how they found out that her son had RSV. And so it's like, one day we took him home from the hospital. Then we found out that his breathing was really shallow. Then we found out this. And the whole time she's doing this dance next to her child in the hospital, explaining their journey with RSV. And the controversy from that was so crazy. That's why her and her husband moved to Hawaii.
Oh, so that's really what it was? Oh my God.
She's claiming it's because of the swinging trauma. She's claiming it's because of X, Y, and Z. No, it's because she got rightfully called out for dancing next to her child who is recovering from RSV in the hospital and had to flee the state of Utah.
I mean, I think this points to like a very interesting thing about social media and influencing is like, it's very easy to take it too far.
Yes.
Because all she's thinking about is like, well, this is what I always do. And I'm just creating content. And ultimately, like the bottom line is like, she's going to make a ton of money because of her followers. And like, she probably did from this. It probably like got her a lot more attention.
Yeah.
I mean, it did, obviously, from people. It's what's that saying that like any PR is good PR.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like that. Oh, that's interesting. I'm very glad I've never seen that TikTok. It would really upset me.
Yeah, I mean, you're gonna see it in the show because obviously they play clips of it. But I remember seeing it and I can't believe it's her. It just was. But then you're like, oh, of course it was her. Like it just,
of course it was
comes
her.
all the way around.
Yeah, I am just thinking the part I did see, like, and Taylor is that her name? The main one?
Yeah, she's a mess.
She's like, she's no great shakes.
No.
But like the drama at the point I've watched is like, Whitney has revealed that the stuff about her husband, and then Taylor immediately talks about like her miscarriage.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, is this really drama? Like this feels very Real Housewives-y, like just trying to make stuff up. And with these shows, I like am never sure how much of it is just like truly let's just create drama. But I mean, I haven't even seen what happens. It sounds like it gets really crazy.
Yeah, I think it's just kind of like more of the same stuff. Like everyone, the underlying thing that they talk about like a little bit, but that they're not addressing enough is like all of them want to be in charge of this mom group. Like every single one of them. Mom talk. And they're like, we have to preserve mom talk because of the friendship. And it's like, no, you want to preserve mom talk because of the money. I understand.
It's the money.
It's the money.
Like,
I get it. Like I understand.
If one of them was just like, I am enjoying the money.
Yeah.
And that's it, I would totally respect that person.
Yeah,
like 100%.
Instead, the money becomes this thing where it's like, oh, I think it's hard that I'm the breadwinner of my family. And I think like it's difficult for my husband that right now I have all this attention and then I have male fans. And it's a very interesting show. I can't wait. I'm going to watch more when we log off. I can't wait.
Well, it's like the whole discussion of how, like in the first episode, they talk about how mom talk is to like fight against misogyny and Mormonism. I'm like, how are all of you blonde bitches who look exactly the same, are like extremely skinny? Like, how is this feminism? I feel like there are elements of it, but it's also very backwards.
I think it's literally like I posted this without my husband's permission. Like I think it's stuff like that is like feminist to them, where it's like,
okay,
Yeah.
that is like something, right?
but it's also sad. Like if that's the way that
It's
you can
cringe.
express yourself, like Ben Affleck's second cousin is on this. And
so I've been seeing Jen Affleck like in all the things, and I'm like, okay. I'm trying every time I see a headline, I ignore
gotta
it because I want to watch it for myself. So
he's bad. He's extremely controlling. And his wife is like just constantly trying to jump through hoops to defend like how controlling he is. And it's interesting to watch them like all kind of in varying degrees be okay with it and not okay with it. It's really interesting.
Okay, so
10 out of 10 would recommend.
This is our podcast about the secret life.
Yeah, sorry. I just
No. I'm glad you brought it up. I mean, it's like there's stuff we're watching things, so
Yeah.
we have to talk about them. The other thing that I'm watching, which maybe you're watching, and I'm not done yet, is The Perfect Couple on Netflix.
I haven't watched it yet, but it's coming up next.
Okay. Well, maybe we can discuss that next week because next week will also be another
No, next
Joan's
week
season starts next week.
Yeah.
Okay. So we might do like a little short episode next week because then our release schedule will change to Mondays because Joan's show's on a Wednesday. So we have to watch it. Got a live meme. Then I think we'll probably record on like Thursday or Friday and then we'll release on Monday. So things are changing up. So that means next week, whatever we put out will be an in-betweener type of thing. Maybe, a little different.
Probably more Mormon wives. And I watched Selling Sunset also. So I always got to talk about Selling Sunset.
Patrick is watching Selling Sunset.
I'd love to hear his thoughts.
He's so embarrassed about it.
No, I think it's amazing.
I know. I'm like, I love that you watch this show and I don't watch this show.
I truly like, that's such an attractive quality that he's just like, I like this show and this is one of my programs. Will you ask him if he's team Chelsea or team Brie? Because I really would like to discuss.
Okay, I'll ask. I've been dipping in like very little, like just I've been in the room occasionally or whatever. Who is the black woman whose husband was making out? Okay.
Yeah.
And who's Brie?
Brie is the one that usually either has a really long or really blonde long hair. And she looks mean. Like, I think she wouldn't mind me describing her that way. She looks mean.
Okay. I'll be able to figure it out.
She's had arguably the most plastic surgery out of all of them, which is shocking, I know.
Which is like
shocking.
Then a lot.
Yeah. It's and she's open about it. She talks about it constantly, which I appreciate about her.
Right.
She's the one who has a kid with Nick Cannon.
Okay. I think I've seen her on a previous season.
Yeah.
Okay. I will report back.
Okay.
I'll check in with Patrick and report back.
Sounds good.
Okay. So what we do want to talk about today is some stuff that's happened in the aftermath of Jen's finale.
Yeah.
The last time we chatted about it was like pretty shortly afterwards. So there's been stuff that's happened since then that we need to talk about. So some specific things, like Maria released a video about how she feels about the finale because she was getting a lot of hate, pushback. I don't know what she was getting, but she just wanted to say a few things. We need to talk about Devin, who just like released a ridiculous video. Like a 13-minute long video, which has since been taken down, but there are screenshots from the original. And apparently, anyway, we'll get into all of it. There's just a lot. Is there anything else?
No. This is after final rose. After final rose.
Right. And then also like Jen's kind of social media. So, I mean, maybe we start there. Like, it's been pretty light. She's been very like capitalizing on this like bad bitch moment, which I love for her. She's been posting a lot with Jonathan.
I was going to say, those TikToks are so cute. I mean, they're clearly just friends, but I'm glad that there's someone out in LA that Jen can hang out with and have fun with outside of Dancing with the Stars.
Yeah, I think that they're like actually best friends.
Yeah, they're having so much fun together. Like, he will be the one that got away for Jen because she will not turn it into something romantic. I don't think she should. I think she's gone through a lot of trauma with Devin, but he's the one that got away.
I mean, who knows? Like, who knows? I think their story is ongoing. I am happy to see them hanging out, smiling, having fun,
cute.
just like whatever. Like Jenn, I think, said like we're just friends.
Yeah.
Like, and truly, like after what we saw last week, like girl needs a timeout from dating.
She needs a breather.
Yeah. And like I want that for her. Like there's no way you can get into a healthy relationship 10 days after that bullshit went down.
No, and it's still ongoing. Like Devin will not let this go. Like he's such an asshole and he's such an entitled man that he thought that everyone wants to hear from me. That's why everyone's mad, is they don't have my side of the story. Like they don't understand what happened. That's why they're upset. If they just hear me ramble on for 13 minutes and see these very intimate and personal screenshots, they will believe me. All the screenshots showed was that Jenn has anxious attachment style. Like she was very and as she should be, like she is engaged to someone who is not responding to her. Like Devin did this to show that he put in effort, and all he showed was he actually wouldn't answer her for hours and hours on end, and she would have to text him over and over again to get him to respond.
That is wild with a fiance. What the hell?
And he's like, she tried to break up with me. You can see that here. She says in the text that he shows, she says, is this what it's going to be like when we're married? That you go dark on me for a full day and I don't hear from you. And then you just resubmerge and you're like, I was out with my friends. And she's like, I can't be married to someone like that. That's a very fair thing to say. And does not show that you were working on the relationship. It just shows that you thought you could get away with putting in the bare minimum because Jenn would always be more committed than you. And then you found out that like, no, you actually have to try.
This is like him being like, I just can't meet your expectations. It's like, these aren't just Jenn's difficult expectations. These are like things that you need to show up for in a relationship. You know what it reminds me of? And I think it's like interesting to kind of compare them is Chelsea and Jimmy from Love is Blind.
Oh my God, you're so right.
And how Chelsea would freak out when Jimmy was gone for like 2.5 hours. And like, okay, that was legitimately ridiculous.
Yeah.
Like, Chelsea, come on.
Yeah.
It's like 2.5 hours. You're so possessive. A whole day?
Yeah.
When you are engaged, about to like go on national TV again to show how in love you are, like all of these things. Like, no, that's... Even if you are having doubts, you need to check in with your fiance. Like, you just need to be a decent human being.
Like, she is trying to text him during the show, being like, did you like the episode? Did you watch the episode? And he doesn't respond to her. And then she's like, then she gets to the point, and this is what we talked a lot about last week, where it's like, she doesn't actually have a ton of confidence in herself in the way that she needs to. And so she was seeking so much validation from him, which isn't fair. You know, you can't expect your partner to validate you all the time, but he wasn't doing it like at all. And so like we see these texts where she's like, I'm going to look so ugly on my podcast today. And then and then he's like, no, you'll look great. And then it's like, she's like, do you miss me? And he's like, yeah. And it's just like these one-word responses. And he thought that would show that he was trying. I just cannot with like where the bar is for these men.
That's like, in all fairness, I'm hearing this for the first time because I didn't have time to look through all of them, or I like forgot to.
It's like because you saw Devin's face in the video and you're like, fuck that.
Yeah, I just knew it was like a train wreck.
Yeah.
And, I don't want to repeat it here because it's so intimate, but like Jenn said some like very intimate, like sexual stuff.
Yeah.
That he put in this video, like screenshots of it. That's like, I mean, how many times do you and I have to talk about how embarrassing it would be for us and our families to be on this show?
Yes.
And then this is out there. Like, I can only hope that Jenn's mom never catches wind of that ever.
Ever. And like he took it down and he was like, oh, I apologize. I didn't realize these were in here. You cut together a 12-minute video and you were like defending yourself and you laid out this careful timeline. You don't even like read the screenshots that you're loading into the video carefully enough. And like we're experimenting with video editing. You spend a lot of time looking at everything that you're inserting into that video. And the fact that he didn't see it is just is just crazy. And like, also, while you're apologizing for putting those screenshots in, because that was very violating, any of it is violating. Like the way that couples talk to each other should not be out there.
No, like
even
literally anytime I see this type of content, like, because this will happen a lot after these dating shows, like people revealing what really happened so they can clear their name or whatever. And it's just like, I actually don't think we need to be seeing this. Like, this is between you two, and like, please stop. Like, this is not okay. And like, Devin, just like, honestly, after watching the debate last night and like Patrick's comparison of Devin to Trump, like, it's giving the same energy. Like, Kamala Harris, like, you know, poking the bear about his like rally sizes and like just, you know, all these things that like Trump could not help but respond to the one thing that really got under his skin. Same energy. Like, Devin is like, I need to show everyone that I am actually a good person, and like, here's how I'm going to clear my name. I'm going to like use this pathetic video that I didn't even edit like or look over carefully and clear my name, and then it's just like a total train wreck, and everyone thinks you're even more of an asshole than you were before. Like, seriously.
I think it's like, he probably, and I hate when people throw around narcissist, but he probably has some of those tendencies, and he can't believe that people don't like him. And he's like, oh my God, I can't believe people don't like me. If they just heard what I thought, they'd really like me. It's like, the best thing you could have done is sat silent for literally a month. It's been a week. Disappear and go on Nick Viall's podcast, because he's so pro man. He'll let you get away with a lot of shit. And Nick was even like, I offered to have Devin on my podcast, and he said, no, I'm not ready to go public yet. And it's like, the podcast would have been so much better for you, because we can say a lot about Nick Viall. The man's a marketing genius. He would figure it out with you. Like,
he would.
And you just thought, no, I'm the smartest fucking person in the world. I actually know better than everyone else, because I'm really, really smart and I'm really charming. And like, you're actually not. And
you're not charming at all.
Not charming at all. And your little gaming chair was weird, and I didn't like you see you sit in it. You go low, I go lower.
Take
Devin.
that, Devin.
Yeah, Devin.
You heard it here.
I don't have a desk chair, but yours was weird.
Yours was weird. Your little like gaming chair or whatever. Jenn is so much better off without this asshole, but like, it's so just the embarrassment, you know, just adding insult to injury after this. I would feel really embarrassed if I was Jenn and some of that stuff was out there. Like, it's just like fucked up.
Yeah. I just hope it like turns into like energy towards the Dancing with the Stars season. And there's like, you know, she does a Taylor Swift medley that kind of goes through this whole relationship and ends with like Reputation era, because it's like about someone exposing you and fucking you over. And I hope that she gets to stick around long enough that she gets to do a lot of those like pivotal weeks and really focus on it. So I just feel bad. Like, I would be mortified if the way that me and Ethan talk to each other over text came out. And like,
oh my God.
And not just like the intimate stuff, but it's like the baby talk that like, if that got out, I'd be done for. Like, it would be game over.
No, like, I mean, this is the thing. This is the thing that Devin he doesn't understand what a real intimate relationship is, clearly.
Yeah.
And when you have that type of intimacy with someone, it stays between you. Like, even after the breakup, like, there are things you just don't really share. And like, this was just like a huge overshare that totally backfired, was so unnecessary. And now people are even more hurt. And it's just like, what the fuck, Devin? You suck so much.
Like, you did this all for what? Like, it didn't achieve what you wanted it to. I think he deleted his Instagram again. And
it was deleted last week when I tried to tag him. So he came back and you better just, you should just stay off for a while. But you know, he wants the attention too much. Like, he'll be back. I don't know. This is the thing is like these people, these reality stars get a huge following and then all of a sudden they become influencers and they don't know how to actually influence responsibly.
Yeah, I think it's like he had so much momentum behind him because people hated Sam M so much and he was posting funny memes about it. And then when you win, you kind of have to turn into a sweetie pie. Like you can't really stay edgy and angry. It doesn't really work.
No.
And so now I'm just like looking back on all that stuff and I'm just kind of like, oh, this is mean.
Yeah. It's ew. It's gross.
It's ew.
So Maria, before all this Devin thing came out, Maria posted a video of like her thoughts on it. And she was very diplomatic, I would say. Like she was really nice about Jenn. There weren't like real words of support, like in a friend way. Like I don't think those two are friends anymore.
No, I took it more as like woman to woman. This is so bad that this is happening to you. And this just affirms the reason why I couldn't be Bachelorette, because you are up against all these people's expectations of you. And I like that she was basically like, yeah, I'm just trying to date Jeremy. I wanted nothing to do with Devin. I was at the club trying to meet Jeremy. Devin was not there. Like Devin followed me. I never followed him back. I never will now. Like done.
Do you think that's like the subtext of what she was saying about going to the club with Jeremy?
Yeah, because she was like, she's like, what do you think paradise is? It's meeting other people from this franchise and making connections with them. And I don't plan to go to paradise. And so I'm trying to connect with people outside of that. And I met up with Jeremy. And like,
yeah,
I know you're not a big Maria fan, but I think it really works. Like, I think it's a good fit.
I pray for whoever ends up in a relationship with Maria. I know that's so mean, but like she's not mature enough to be in a healthy relationship with anyone. And I just think that person is going to be pandering to her and her needs like for the rest of their lives. So if Jeremy's that person, great. I don't think Jeremy is that person. I think Jeremy's kind of what's the right word? I don't think he'd put up with a princess. Like Maria's a fucking princess.
I think he'd love a princess.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh my God. Jeremy, can you tell us?
Yeah. Can you tell us? I have noticed, not that I'm a princess, but I'm not the lowest maintenance partner.
I can't even imagine that, Mary, because you're like so cool and down to earth. Like, really?
I just get like cranky about things, and I just like,
well, who doesn't?
Who doesn't? But I think it's like one of the dynamics of our relationship is that Ethan is like so level-headed and really enjoys making me feel better about situations, even if it's not warranted. And I have noticed that a lot of Jewish men have this very caring nature. And I just think that like Jeremy would love taking care. And I think that's positive stereotyping. I'm sorry if anyone's somehow offended by that, but that's a pattern that I've noticed.
Totally positive stereotyping.
That's a pattern that I've noticed. So I think he would like that in a way. And like she's funny, she's like sexy, and they have that in common. Like I think it could work. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe it could. Maybe. I appreciate like the video was cringy to me. I know. Like Maria's whole affect is like just not my vibe. But I appreciated what she was trying to say and the intent behind it. Like I appreciate that she was, sticking up for Jenn as much as she wanted to and making it clear that like Devin sucks.
Yeah.
She's not going to follow the guy back. This is what's really going on. Like, I'm not going to be Bachelorette. I'm not going to do this.
Yeah.
And, yeah, I mean, like, it is still wild that she was a part of this season without actually ever being on screen.
I know. And in just like I get that your Bachelorette backed out at the last second. I just feel like there had to be a way to fix this for Jenn. Like,
yes,
I know it was like a really quick turnaround, but like delay production a week. Like, I don't know, like delay it a week and talk to the guys about who the Bachelorette's going to be. And
recast like 10 of the guys.
Yes. Just give her a shot. Like,
yeah,
there had to be guys who applied and said like, I'm hoping to meet Jenn. Like call those guys. Like because they start the like Bachelor and Bachelorette casting ads like after week 2. So I'm sure there were guys who applied early on who were like, I want to meet Jenn.
Totally.
So I don't know.
Like ABC, big fumble.
You blew it. And they're not even putting any clips on their YouTube. Like
of the finale, they're like, this was such a train wreck. We need to erase this from history.
We have to fully ignore it because we really blew it. It's like I was cutting together a clip and we like to cut in like clips of the show, and Bachelor and Bachelor Nation obviously post the highest quality clips. They had none from the finale. I was like, you guys just fully ignored it. Like
yeah, I think they're like really trying to push us towards Joan's season now.
Yeah.
And I have low expectations, so because I want to be like pleasantly surprised about it. So
yeah, I want that like lightning in a bottle moment of like that opening scene of Gary putting in his hearing aids and it's silent, and then he turns the hearing aids on, and then the Cat Stevens song starts playing.
Yes.
I'm actually gonna cry thinking about it. It was like so good.
It was good, except I
what
really
happened?
hate Gary.
Yeah, I know. But remember that moment.
That moment was electrifying when it happened.
Yeah.
When does Dancing with the Stars start?
I think next week also. Yeah.
Yeah, everything starts next week.
I can't wait.
Joan will be the main thing we're covering until... So Love is Blind just announced that they have a new season coming out first week of October.
Yeah.
And it's DC.
I know. I didn't even know they were filming there.
No. And the only rumors I've seen so far is that apparently there's a pair of sisters on the cast who chose not to reveal that they were sisters while they were in the pods.
Interesting.
And I can only imagine that they're putting that out there now because some really messy shit goes down.
There might be a little sister swap situation going on.
Yeah, which is wild.
So
I had no idea that they were even filming in DC. I never heard anything about that. So that's pretty exciting.
I hadn't heard that either.
Yeah.
So this is October 2nd.
Right.
And Dancing with the Stars is September 17th.
Yeah. And I mean, there's not like we'll talk about it.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't really recap Dancing with the Stars. It's
no, you can't really talk about dancing without knowing anything about dancing. We'll just be like, what Pedro got? Like,
I know nothing about dancing.
It looked good. I don't know.
Yeah. We'll keep you updated. Like, if you don't want to watch the show and you want to like know who's winning from week to week, we can give you that information.
We gotcha. Yeah. Yeah. I love Dancing with the Stars. I'm very excited it's back.
The few seasons I've watched, I did actually really enjoy it. So I'm glad to like have a reason to get into it now. And then Love Island Australia will be coming out in October as well.
I can't wait.
There's a lot.
I can't wait.
Yeah, I can't wait either. It's my first season with Love Island Australia.
I hope it's a good one because when it's good, it's so good. Like it is like the past 2 seasons of Australia when I've been like watching it as it's coming out have been amazing. Like so good. So many cute couples. Just great.
Yeah. Okay. So then the other Bachelor Nation thing, and this is like a couple weeks old now, but I've been wanting to talk about it on the podcast because I don't even really know how I feel about it. And it's kind of like, I don't even know if there's been chatter about it since. But a couple weeks ago, Kaitlyn Bristowe went on, which podcast was it?
It was You Up. It's a bitches podcast with Jared Freed and Kay York City, I want to say. I can't remember.
Right. And Jared Freed was the announcer for...
Love Undercover,
right?
And he does like hilarious Bachelor recaps every week. Like he watches the story and he watches it and he does like stories where he's like,
right,
what the fuck's up with this guy? Like his whole thing is he loves Bachelor shows.
Yeah, he was really annoying in this interview though. I was like, I don't like this person.
I'm not surprised. I can't say I'm surprised.
Anyway, the gist of that interview is that she basically revealed, without actually saying anyone's names, that she at least at once dated Zach Clark. It's pretty certain that they are still together. And that she did tell Tayshia about it. And Tayshia, the way Kaitlyn describes it, Tayshia was like, I knew you were a bad person. This just confirms it. And that was kind of like the last time they talked.
Yeah.
And like some additional information that I think is important to know is that Kaitlyn in this interview pretty clearly said that like she never felt like her and Tayshia were actually friends.
Mm-hmm.
That like she said it was a working friendship. Like we went out together maybe once while we were working together, and we were just very different people, which like it doesn't take like a genius to know that like Tayshia and Kaitlyn are like very different bachelorettes and people.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they're very different.
So I think she kind of like qualified it that way, that like, you know, I wasn't really friends with Tayshia, so like dating her ex-fiance, it was kind of a like the way it was all framed was like people were calling in with questions about dating, and one of them was about like dating a friend's ex or whatever. And she was like, well, she wasn't really my friend, but I do feel like it's good to let people know.
Yeah.
Like, you know, I would appreciate someone letting me know if they were going to start like dating my ex. And so that's what she did, was she like texted Tayshia, and then I think like she told her over text.
Yeah, she texted her, and then Tayshia called her and said
called her the next day.
I think that Kaitlyn is downplaying the relationship because it's not
between her and Tayshia.
Because
okay,
I think the timing is bad. So even if you like are not friends, it's almost like summer camp that I feel like they went through. Like, I feel like they were so close in this time that they were working together. Like, Kaitlyn helped Tayshia announce her breakup on Men Tell All on after Katie's season. And Tayshia said, Kaitlyn's been really helpful to me because, you know, her relationship broke up and she had to go face the public. And Kaitlyn's been such a rock to me in figuring this out. And so I think that Tayshia still holds very precious that moment, that even if it was fleeting, they're not still friends. Kaitlyn was someone she confided in because she was who she was with all the time when this relationship with this person was falling apart. And if I had to guess, Tayshia probably shared some things about Zach that were not so great, that made Tayshia feel like shit. And then that's why they ultimately broke up. And so for that person that you confided in to then date him is really weird.
Okay, I hadn't thought about that aspect of it. That like they had actually processed the breakup with this person together.
Yeah.
I mean, do I think Kaitlyn's a bad person? No. Do I think it's ultimately bad that she's dating Zach? Like I don't. I don't really think like girl code is a thing here.
No, I agree. I always lean towards girl code, obviously, because I feel like it's makes the world go around. But I think in this situation, there was no real like violation. But it's like, Kaitlyn's expectation was not really asking for permission to date him. Like, she acted like I'm asking her permission. She explicitly did not get it. And her response was, well, now I kind of want to send you a picture of me sucking his dick. And it's like,
she didn't say that she was asking for
I guess she was telling her. Yeah.
She said, like, I was just letting her know.
Yeah.
And, like, I was going to do what I was going to do because we weren't really friends.
Yeah.
So she wasn't asking for permission.
I guess that's true, yeah.
I mean, you know, like, I think it's wild that Tayshia said that to her on the phone.
There's clearly something else going on between them that, like, is not.
That is, like, savage.
Yeah.
To say that, like, I could maybe say that over text, but I don't know if I could actually. I'm such a people pleaser. I would not be able to say that over the phone.
I've only said it something like that to someone maybe 3 times in my life.
Yeah.
But they really did something.
Right.
You know, I've said it to friends, ex-boyfriends and other people.
Yeah.
But like, and to their face, because it was in an argument, but I really hated them. Like, you really have like I really hated them to say something like that. And so I don't think that this is the only thing that's happened between Tayshia and Kaitlyn.
No.
Because it went from like it went to, like, you were a terrible person so fast.
I knew you were a bad person.
I knew it. Like that.
I know. And it's not like it was a knee-jerk reaction.
No.
She had a whole day to process it and called her 24 hours later to say that.
And you know, Tayshia's like texting her friends and being like, I feel like I just have to tell Kate and Bristowe what I've been thinking all along and whatever.
Yeah.
And got approval to say it. And then, because Tayshia's smart, she's like a very well thought out person. She's not impulsive. Like, she's very like, we saw her in The Bachelorette. She's very measured to a fault.
Yes.
If it was flipped, I could see Kaitlyn just blurting out and saying it because Kaitlyn's a little bit impulsive, always has been. And so I could see it being the other way. I also think Kaitlyn does not have a leg to stand on for policing someone's reaction because Jason, her ex-fiance, is now dating this influencer, Kat Stickler. And Kaitlyn lost her shit when they went public with it. Like, Kaitlyn, she was on social media being like, I'm taking a break. Like, people will stab you behind the back, blah, blah. You don't know Kat at all. You don't know her at all. She's not from this franchise. Like, she has nothing to do with this. And
it was really soon after her and Jason had broken up, though.
It was soon, but she was already dating Zach. And so her whole point with Tayshia is like, oh, if you're so happy in your relationship, you shouldn't care anymore. And I'm kind of like, Kaitlyn, if you're so happy with Zach, you shouldn't care that Jason is dating someone who has nothing to do with you. Like, who can't even make an argument that you're ever friends.
Yeah, it's a double standard.
And so I think it's just like a little bit tough for her to be like, yeah, and I can't believe she did that when it's like just a couple months ago, you were like losing your shit on socials over something else.
You know what's so funny about these two women is like, I simultaneously love both of them and like kind of despise both of them.
I know. Like, I'm on a journey with them.
I really feel
all
both
the
ways
time.
about them. Yeah. And like they are oil and water.
They
like,
are.
They really are. Like Tayshia is like a holier than thou, very buttoned up, very measured. Tayshia's like, I mean, Kaitlyn's like the opposite, like just throw things at the wall, say whatever and apologize later type of person. So it's like kind of not a surprise that this whole thing has happened, but it's like, I don't know. I mean, like they're, It made me, I also was like, she mentioned that Tayshia's in a relationship. I had like totally forgotten that Tayshia is still dating Luke Gulbranson.
I know.
From Summer House.
I know.
Which is like, Tayshia is the only person who's been able to like keep that man for longer than 6 months.
She's the only person that survived a trip to his Minnesota house. Like every girl he brought back there, every friendship he brought back there fell the fuck apart with whatever happened in Minnesota. Like even like his friendship with Craig Conover in Austin fell apart when they visited him in Minnesota. Him and Hannah Berner hit the rocks after Minnesota. Didn't he date Sierra and took her to Minnesota?
Yeah.
So
that's
it's like
how it started and ended.
Everyone gets taken to Minnesota and can't survive.
Even Brian Benny, I think, had some shit.
Benny had some shit go down in Minnesota. And Tayshia has survived the curse of the Minnesota house.
Oh my God. Yeah. I mean, I haven't looked at either of their social media in a while, but I remember when they first announced, there was like, screenshots from their stories and stuff like that. And I remember seeing Luke like posting Bible verses and like all sorts of like very religious stuff, which like I had literally never seen him do before. And I was like, this is Tayshia. This has Tayshia written all over it. She's very religious and she's very like unapologetic about that part of herself. Like it was a huge part of her season. Like Ivan left because of that. So he like, it was like immediate too after they had announced that he was like posting this content. Like I think he's just like, Tayshia is like the most amazing thing I've ever seen in my life. And she's perfect. And yeah.
I think they'll get married. Like
I think so too.
I think they'll get married. And I pray for the future of the human race that they have children. Like I just think we need to see the most beautiful child walk the face of the earth. Like there's not a bad feature amongst the two of them.
It is pretty wild. They are a very hot couple.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean,
like they're definitely like Tayshia is having sex before marriage. Yeah. Like she's definitely. Okay.
Yeah, she is. And it is also interesting where it's like Kaitlyn is very a-religious. Like she's not like, I think she's like spiritual and she talks about praying and stuff, but she's not religious at all. So I think it is interesting for Zach Clark to now be dating her because it's clearly he was religious enough for Tayshia.
Well, I always have wondered if that may have been the source of some stuff with them. I mean, there's always like underlying Christianity in all of Bachelor Nation, right? So like you sort of have to be like a little bit Christian, unless you're Jeremy.
Unless you're Jeremy or Jenn, who both left
Jen.
the franchise. They both left the franchise single.
But like, I mean, Zach is like heavy in recovery, like, and those circles often converge with religious circles. So I wonder about that part of it. Yeah, Kaitlyn and Zach, like, I still have so many questions. Kaitlyn also said in this interview that she is not going to show any relationships on social media until she's like sure, which, you know, like engaged. I think maybe she said until I'm engaged again.
Interesting.
So we won't be seeing, I mean, they've been spotted at events together. Like it's definitely a thing, but like Zach has not posted anything about her. Kaitlyn has not posted anything about him. It's an interesting pairing, if not only for the fact that she is known for drinking a lot of wine and being messy.
Yeah, like she owns a wine company. So I'm kind of like wondering how like he's going to reconcile that. Like I'm sure he's comfortable enough with his sobriety that having in the house is not that big of a deal, but it's kind of like two conflicting brands.
Well, she talked about their first date. I mean, I think this is what she was referencing. I'm pretty sure it was with Zach, and it was like sitting in a car somewhere, and she's like, and I had a glass of wine. So maybe it was someone else, but I don't know. Maybe it was him. Like
maybe it was him. I mean, Tayshia drinks too, so maybe he's just fine being around it.
Yeah. And Kaitlyn was like, you know, I could probably drink less. Like that's not a bad life choice for me.
Yeah. So I think she's been like debating that on and off for years. I used to listen to her podcast pretty religiously, and like,
oh, you did? Okay.
Shortly after she started the wine brand, she kind of was like talking about it a lot less and talking about how like the day after hangover has made her kind of like super anxious. Like that's for me personally, that's the worst part about drinking is the day after, like,
oh my God,
wondering if you said the wrong thing or if everyone fucking hates you. And yeah, I just feel like she was struggling with that while still having the brand open. So maybe she doesn't really drink that much anymore and she's just doing it for the vibes.
Yeah. I mean, you know, if the business is booming, like there's no reason you need to also be buying the product. So yeah, that's like Kaitlyn and Tayshia's thing. I haven't really heard anything about it since.
No,
like,
me neither.
But like people were riled up about it.
Yeah.
And there were a lot of like the general sentiment, I think, was like Team Tayshia, actually, which was interesting to me.
Yeah, and Tayshia didn't comment. Like, I think that Devin could take a page out of Tayshia's book. Like, she just kept being hot on the beach. Like, everyone was like talking about it, and she's like, "Hi guys, OOTD," and it's like, yeah, just let it run its course.
Yeah, like, and that's so Tayshia too. She's like she's so classy.
She's
so
classy, and literally every time I see her, I'm just like, oh my God. Like her and Sierra are like truly two of the prettiest women I've ever seen in my entire life. Yeah. And so it's just like, way to go, Luke. Like
yeah, I know. He's figured it out. So yeah, maybe engagement news from them sometime soon. Okay, so we tried to get like questions from people and it sort of failed miserably, but my friend Sean sent us
Thank you, Sean.
Sean, we love your questions. We're not going to get to them all because there's a million. But we wanted, maybe we can like do a couple here at the end of the episode, just Bachelor Nation stuff that it's like questions, also just like musings.
The musings are my favorite.
Yes, the musings are so good, including, I think we can just say this one because it's so good. He says, quote, "I have a huge aversion to Zach, the past bachelor. Is this wrong?"
No.
No, you are 100% right, Sean.
You are right. Like, you are right.
Yeah.
There's one question.
Full stop. There's really nothing more to say about it. Like, the most hated bachelor, except, I don't know, is Clayton worse?
I think Juan Pablo is still the most hated bachelor of all time,
Right,
but that was at
yeah.
least a very fun season. I think
Yeah.
everyone's very apathetic to Zach. Like everyone's just kind of like, why did this happen? Like it just didn't
His
need to
only
happen.
like redeeming quality is that him and Katie are still together.
Yeah, and they seem cute, so I'm like, I'm fine with it. Like she seems great. I didn't see her on the show at all, but like, you know, he had a great group of girls from what I can tell. Like I love Charity. Gabby went through a lot, seems great. Katie seems great. Like, you know, it is
all
what it-
good.
My question is one question because when there is a costume episode, do they only have enough costumes for each person? I don't know what he means.
Oh, okay. So like if there's a date
Mhm.
where they have to wear costumes, like what was the last one they
Oh,
did?
like the bridal one?
Yeah, like a bridal one or like the Magic Mike one.
Yeah, like
where they have like racks and then they
and
get
they
to
all
choose.
run for them. Like,
Right.
yeah.
They do make it seem like you get what you get, like whoever gets something first. And then some people are left with like the crap stuff and they have to wear like a banana leaf on their dick or something.
Some of that must be sized based because I'm just thinking back to like Charity's season where they did the Ken date and Dotun was on it. And I was like, he and Sean can't be like racing for the same outfit because Dotun is like 7'1".
Right.
So like they can't actually be going for the same outfit.
Yeah, they definitely like make it seem like, oh, some people just get the shit end of the stick. And
I had to guess the shit end of the stick is pre-assigned. Like I think they make it look like they're running for them, but if I had to guess, everyone knows what they're going to be wearing prior to that moment.
Right.
And like you either get fucked or you don't.
I mean, I think like a lot of the group dates, especially early on, are like highly choreographed. Like
it's too many people to let them just be free. Like
no, like I think they like literally set people up in specific situations and like probably even tell them what to say to some extent.
Yeah.
Like to kind of get things going. Like the one in Jen's season where they did the Magic Mike thing and whatever. Like, you know, all those guys are getting help with their poems or whatever it is that they're choosing. Like they told that dude who's never been in love before to go up there and say he was falling in love with Jenn.
Yeah.
Like that was absolutely not his idea.
No, he maybe floated it and was like, but that's a bad idea. And they were like, no, it's
You're
so
like,
good.
definitely do that.
She'll love it. It's such a good idea.
Was he at the Men Tell All?
I think so. He just didn't talk.
He just didn't talk. Oh, he was there. Yeah.
Yeah,
There were a lot of people who weren't there though. Like Jahan was not there.
Jahan, what a letdown. We really rode for
What
you,
a
my guy.
letdown.
And then you just shit the bed by not talking to Jenn at all.
What a bummer.
What a bummer.
Okay, let's do one more question here. At the rose ceremony, do we see the real order in which the roses are given?
In the beginning, no.
No, yeah. I think they do at the end. Like, I don't think they could actually fake that at the end, but they absolutely engineer the order of how the roses are given out.
Yeah, it's not up to Jenn or the lead. They tell them who they have to give it to and when.
And like that's part of why these rose ceremonies are infamous for going on for like 6 hours is because they have to get so many different shots so that they can have a lot of options for editing later. So like roses can be given out in different orders and things like that, and we wouldn't necessarily notice what's going on. And of course, like Bachelor Nation will find stuff and point it out all the time. But yeah, it's definitely like, but the end is always like the most dramatic final two.
Yeah.
Who's gonna go home?
That's always calculated for that.
Yeah. And like, I don't know. It's just sort of wild, like in this day and age, that like the rose ceremonies are still a thing because they're so boring.
When they did it to the old ladies and they like had them just like standing for hours and hours.
Oh my God.
And wasn't Natasha was like, bring us chairs.
I think that was my favorite Bachelor, like the little snippet that they put at the end of every episode. I think that's my favorite one I've ever seen.
And then she wore earrings with chairs on them to the Women Tell All. It was like, chairs for Bachelor Nation.
Oh my God. I hope they bring her back in Joan's season somehow.
That would be so much fun.
There's definitely going to be some cameos. We know this.
Oh, there have to be. It's definitely going to be Gary.
No, I think they want to distance themselves from Gary.
I guess he wasn't at the finale.
No, yeah, I think Gary is now on everyone's shit list and he's out. Bye-bye.
Boo.
I would be so like if I saw him again, I'd be like, fuck this.
Be like, I'm done with
I don't
you,
want to
buddy.
watch this. Yeah. But I mean, I don't know. He is good at faking it, so maybe they'll bring him back.
You never know.
They might bring Teresa because, you know, a scorned woman is always.
I think they'll bring the girls. Like I think they'll bring Leslie and Faith and
Right.
Oh my God, what's her name? The icon
Sandra.
They'll bring
Love
Sandra
Sandra.
for sure. They'll bring Susan. They'll bring Nancy. Like I think they'll bring those girls throughout because I think they are going to do a paradise. So they have to keep us fresh. They have to keep them fresh in our minds who the stars are going to be.
Are you serious?
I had heard it buzzing around on Reddit and I just really wanted it to be like a Sandals with like easy access pool and lots of air conditioning and the dates are naps. And stuff like that.
I mean, they literally cannot do it on that beach.
No, it can't be Sayulita. Like, I would literally call the police.
Yeah.
And I don't like the police. I would call the police.
This is elder abuse.
Yeah, this is elder abuse. Like, don't make me call 911. I will.
Yeah. Don't make me call 911, Bachelor.
Don't make me get on the phone with the cops.
Oh, my God. Okay. Sean, we will answer more of your questions next week.
Yeah.
Because we'll do some more updates. I mean, there's some other stuff that's happened, but I don't even want to talk about it now.
No, I don't want to talk about Sam M and Thomas N doing a fucking podcast because two men with a microphone is the worst brand of podcast ever.
It's also called The Main Thing, which is like embarrassing for them.
I'm gonna jump off a bridge for real. Like I know,
like these guys. Apparently, also, I saw a screenshot in the whole Devin controversy of this video he released recently, a screenshot of Sam M's comment on it,
was a
middle finger.
Yeah.
Which is like so aggressive. Like, what the hell, Sam?
I hate to say it, kind of iconic. I honestly hate to say it.
I can't believe that's an emoji. That was my first thought. Was like, this is an emoji.
I know it is kind of, and it's like not like age restricted. Like it's on my niece's iPad.
Is she using it?
No, but I've been like on her phone looking at her emojis, and there it is.
Yeah. Maybe they should like not do that.
No.
I don't know.
No.
Anyway.
Okay.
So next week we'll talk about Jones Ben.
Yeah. Oh yeah, we should do that.
Because then when it releases, it will have been right after the finale or the premiere, so we can see how right/wrong we were.
If we do anything like Jahan, we'll just be like eating our words again.
I know.
Even though I called that Devin was going far. That's my one
You
claim.
totally did. You did.
I just read
Was there something about his bio that clued us in, or was it like he just had a vibe?
He seemed very hearty har. Like he seemed like he was just gonna crack a joke and Jenn was gonna love it. Yeah, I know.
Jenn, just hang out with Jonathan. Do your dancing thing.
Yeah, just stay with Jonathan. Stay away from this man.
Yeah, no one needs it.
Sorry.
Okay. Thank you all for listening. We love you, and we will see you next week.
Yay. Cheers, lovebirds.
Cheers, lovebirds.
Thanks for listening to Can I Steal You for a Minute? Subscribe wherever you listen to podcasts, and if you like the show, please leave a rating and review. Follow us on social media at Can I Steal You for a Minute Pod, and support the show through Patreon at patreon.com/Can I Steal You for a Minute.